actually, when I start drawing any of my ballpoint pen landscapes, I start from the bottom up. And I used to do portraits, and portraiture is my main thing. Well, you always start whatever work of art, usually like right there, like in the middle, or from the eyes and move out or whatever. Never from the bottom up. It's a very strange thing, but when I started this group a couple years ago, actually, I started doing this, I started my drawings from the roots up. And it was very much a part of like going with the tree as it reached up to the sun and as it makes its way from the earth up to the sky. And I just felt like the drawing had to follow that energetically. I don't know why, I just followed that. So I usually, I start at the bottom and I move myself up the page, and when I'm down in here, it's not like, oh, get it over with, it's dirt. What I see in there from starting here, like you put a lot of focus when you start a work of art. You put a lot of focus in the whole time. When you start, it's this frightening white page that you have to like jump into and hope to create something wonderful. It's intimidating always. It's like, okay, here we go. And so there's a great deal of focus when you first start. There just is. So as I'm examining the photographs, when I go out and I photograph the nature, I don't see what I see after it's printed and I start drawing. Because when I start drawing, I'm looking at it in a different way. I'm examining the shapes and the nuance in parts of the, of the photograph that I don't, you can't see when you're shooting the picture. I take the pictures, usually, there's like great light, a fantastic tree, or some sort of visual that I think is poetic. I know exactly what it is I'm going to shoot, and because I get this strong sense of, it's almost like a romance or a poetic feeling. And the light has a lot to do with it. I shoot it, print the shot up, like about 13 by 11 inches. When I start the drawing, I zoom in and I see an entire world of life that is so interesting and that's in with the roots and in with the dirt, and I become aware, like I'm aware of the energy of trees. What got me going with the trees anyway is my love of trees and my awareness of their incredible energy and their presence on the planet. And it goes beyond the tree. It's like I realized from drawing the roots and the dirt that there is a universe of complex life and energy in the dirt and in the roots. And it's unbelievable to me. And people are like, oh, I see a monkey in there. They see the shapes, right? It's like, it goes so deep. It's actually like going into outer space. I know it sounds like, what drug did you take? What's interesting is I actually did online on Instagram, I follow NASA, and I saw a photograph, and I kept it to my phone, but there's a photograph, a galactal photograph, and it looked so much like what I had drawn. Actually, in this drawing, I think there was something, let's go look. I'm pretty sure it was this drawing, and it was this area, because I like shooting details of the work, because when you stop and if you were to sit and just look, it takes you very deep because of what I'm seeing while I'm drawing. It's in all the drawings, but this one in particular, I'll see if I can find that and send it to you. The pictures look identical, like there's such a similarity with the stars, the energy of matter in the universe, out in outer space, and the same shapes and the kind of ecosystems that are going on in the dirt and on the planet Earth that mirror the universe. You know how shapes do. You find similar shapes in everything, in flowers and fruit, trees, fingerprints. And it just, I believe that it's just, there's this mirror of life. Life looks the same in different mediums.
And so this piece in particular is, this work is called The Unseen.
Yes.
And what I also find so interesting is, I mean, the impact of all the depth of detail that you have, but then this contrast with the brilliant white open space.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. It's called The Unseen because really with this piece, this was the launching piece where I decided just to take as much time as I ever wanted to on a work of art. I usually do things kind of on a clip. I play a lot of music. Took a lot of time, and this is where I really got deep into this awareness and what I saw. And to me, it's so vast and so rich. There's so much to appreciate in art, in all these pieces, in the small pieces, in small areas. It's not just that. I found that, well, what I wanted to have is the light contrasting with all this dense drawing. It just felt right to have a large amount of negative space, so it's just like light, and there's a freedom from all of this complexity. And, it's like eating too much fudge. That's how I look at it. It's the same thing. Fudge is delicious, but if you eat, 2 pounds of it, you're going to get sick. Well, you won't get sick if I drew the whole thing, like this. But there's almost too much to look at. And there's so much to see that this gives you the freedom to actually hang out here and then have a breather. And then, kind of feel that sky, earth, feeling. Yeah, the balance. Exactly.
And so your medium is ballpoint pen.
Yes.
The color, the point adds so much to the art itself. Why did you particularly land on ballpoint pen as opposed to pencil or graphite, some other?
Well, when I first started this group, I had just finished a group of portraits, the Civil War portraits. And they were the launching pad for me doing ballpoint work. I had a dream, and I couldn't quite put my finger on. Now, they weren't done in ballpoint pen in the dream, but there was this feeling behind these portraits that I saw in this dream, and I did these portraits in ballpoint. And then I was at the art store, and I thought, how do I get that feeling of the portraits that I had in my dream in these portraits that I'm going to draw? And I had every medium in my hands. I had pastels, and I had crayons, and I had pencils, all these different, ebony pencils and all this stuff. And I was at checkout, and none of it had really hit me as the right thing to draw the portraits with. And as I was waiting to be checked out, I saw this pen. I thought, oh my God, ballpoint pen. My favorite work is when I'm on the telephone and I'm doodling. And it's like, wow, that is really neat. Like that little sketch, I just really love the freedom and the line, and nobody does ballpoint. And so then I started, when it got to me doing trees, I had fallen in love with trees and nature. I was alone a lot, traveling with my husband at, places where I didn't know anybody. I would find parks, and this is what really, I would feel so much comfort from going to the trees and taking their pictures. And at that time, after doing the Civil War portraits, I thought, what I could do with the ballpoint, I want to make the old china, right, from England. It had the landscapes, the vintage china. It has the cobalt blue landscapes on the white porcelain. And I thought, that's it. And I'm going to use blue ballpoint, the classic ballpoint color, and I'm going to do Baroque landscapes with the ballpoint. So I did like 3 copies of Dutch master landscapes, and they were fabulous and fun and huge, and they ended up being really beautiful. But I was posting pictures that I was taking from these walks on Facebook. I was posting my own photographs, and people were like, draw your own photographs.